We started to realize and recognize that companies are actually complex systems. Just like humans are complex adaptive systems, so are companies. The thing is that companies don't recognize this themselves. They sort of buy a methodology, buy an approach, whether it's the Project Management Institute or Prince2 in the old traditional project management methods. And so basically, we started to understand that things were complex and we needed to look at different ways of thinking and understanding what was going on. And that's where techniques such as sense making and weak signal detection come in. And this current crisis is a prime example of that. The weak signals were there. In fact, they were extremely loud and deafening. There was programs in 2005 in the US on possible pandemic problems when SARS was out, avian flu was around. They were already talking about pandemic risks then. Bill Gates, one of the most powerful businessmen and richest people in the world with an incredibly powerful, loud voice. Nobody listened to him 5 years ago when he said we're all doomed. And so they're weak signals. That's weak signals. And we have tools in the sense-making world to be able to detect them, to make sense of them. So we started to recognize there was a number of tools that we should be using that we weren't using, like Boeing and the 737 MAX. You know, they had the weak signals were there, but nobody was listening. They were focused on profit and production, not on safety and quality. And, you know, that lots of people have written about that. I'm just paraphrasing what's in the editorials, not casting aspersions at Boeing. But the point is this, that over a long period of time, they failed continuously for 2 or 3 years, and then people died. Whereas what they should have been able to do is people should be able to pull the andon cord, have that psych safety and say, this is wrong. And the problems would never have happened. If executives did more Genchi Genbutsu, going to the Gemba, the workplace, the real place, and talking to the people closest to the work, they would hear the weak signals. But what a lot of executives do, they choose not to go to the Gemba. They choose not to listen to the whining employees. And then they rely on some sanitized nonsense status report they get once a week, once every 2 weeks, from a number of different layers of middle management that have gradually sanitized it and eliminated anything that really is controversial so they don't piss off the executives, and the executives then are happy that the world is fine. This is also something called green shifting, and I credit that to somebody else I know called Craig Larman, the developer of large scale Scrum. He calls it green shifting, where every week the project status is green. It's green, it's green, it's green, it's green, and then a week before you got to go live, it's red. And that's at best creative writing, at worst creative lying. So this is the sort of things that go off in organizations. So we need to get away from, you know, the upper tier, the upper echelons of management thinking they're a different breed in some omniscient space. And we've got all these workers who are desperately trying to do things right. So there needs to be a balance.